Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Lee. I'm an associate professor of epidemiology and biostatistics at Drexel University in Philadelphia. And how I first met Li Ching, I met her in 2004 when I started my master's of epi at Johns Hopkins. She was assigned to be my advisor. When I started, I was so new to epidemiology, I didn't even really know what a cohort study was. That tells you how green I was then. But at the time, I also didn't really know what I wanted to do in life. Nowadays, I'm a card carrying epidemiologist, and much of my work centers around autism epidemiology. And for that, I have primarily Li Ching to thank. Li Ching was one of the guiding influences, in the early part of my career. Besides the obvious fact she was such an exemplary researcher who accomplished so much. There were two things about Li Ching that really helped shape my trajectory. The first is excitement for her work. In our meetings, her passionate enthusiasm for her work was so contagious. It lit a spark in me and, made me decide, this is something I might want to do for myself. The second thing I really remember about Li Ching was that she made me feel like I mattered. Like the thoughts and insight and whatever I had to say mattered. As a young person still new to the epi world, it was really amazing to feel this encouragement. She got me involved in papers, sponsored my trip to my first ever conference, and made me feel like I could contribute. And because of all that and so much more, I am where I am because of Li Ching.
Some people change your life forever, and Li Ching is that person for me, without a doubt. She was the first person to show me that what I want to do in my career is possible. She took me under her wing, and she never let go. She taught me skills and a mindset and knowledge, and most of all, she gave me courage to achieve what I didn't think was possible. And now in medical residency, because of her, I know that I can push the boundaries and that I will change health systems for children and adults with developmental disabilities in low and middle income countries.
I first met Li Ching over the phone as a prospective student long ago, and I remember literally feeling through the phone, how passionate she was about her work. But then it was later as a student and then as a TA with her in class, I learned that it might not have been the passion so much for the work I was feeling as it was for her students and her potential future students, no matter what their degree program was or whether they had the right answer. She, in every experience that I had with her in the classroom, her love of her students was overflowing. And it always made me, and I know other students, feel really positive about myself, about the work I wanted to do. It made me feel supported and confident. And I know that we all love her for that, and we miss her for that.
My name is Xueqi. I'm a second-year PhD student in the Department of Mental Health at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Dr. Li Qing Li was my advisor when I was in the MHS program of the Department of Epidemiology at Hopkins. Li Qing inspired my research interest in autism when I first saw her in a seminar where she introduced the work at Wendy Klag Center. After that, I began to work with her in several research projects. Li Qing taught me a lot in how to conduct epidemiology research as an experienced and excellent epidemiologist. I worked with her on my master's thesis. Li Qing gave me a lot of useful and brilliant suggestions in informing my research question, doing data analysis, and preparing the final manuscript. I also involved in her air pollution research project in China as a research assistant. When I worked with her, Li Qing not only taught me how to perform strict epidemiology study design, but also emphasized the importance of collaborating with physicians and communities, which teach me a lot. Especially, I also plan to be an epidemiologist in the future. Moreover, Li Qing influenced my professional trajectory profoundly. Although she had a very busy schedule, she was still happy to she was still happy with discussing my professional development with me. I felt confused about the future career development at that time. Li Qing introduced her daily life as a scientist at Hopkins to me and asked me several meaningful questions to help me figure out my own career interest and my own research interest.
My name is Lydia Stewart Arts, and I had the honor of being mentored by Li Ching during both my master's and doctoral work at Johns Hopkins. When I reflect on my brightest memories of Li Ching, they are overwhelmingly memories that showcase her incredible kindness and enthusiasm for, I think, everyone she ever met. She was frequently the kindest person, I would imagine, in most rooms she walked into. As her student, she made sure to start all of our mentorship meetings with the very genuine questions. How are you? How are you doing today? Is there anything taught in a class that you don't understand? Is there anything you need? And that care made me feel seen as a person first and a student and researcher second. Her enthusiasm and compassion, I think, were traits that really lent to her strengths as a researcher. When I think about lessons I've taken from my work with Li Ching that I use in my day-to-day work now in public health, they are lessons that there is a place for compassion alongside curiosity.
Hi, my name is Semra Etyemez, and I am a Turkish-German psychiatrist and currently work as a research fellow at the Department of Psychiatry at the Johns Hopkins University. I have met Li Ching when I was doing my MPH program at the Bloomberg School of Public Health in 2019, and she was my advisor throughout the program. I'm very grateful to have met her. She was an extraordinary person and inspiring teacher. She was very supportive and encouraging mentor. She always shared her research ideas about children with autism and also supported me in my projects and gave me the opportunity to collaborate with CDC. I am very honored to have met her. Li Ching, I miss you, and you will be survived by your students, by the children with autism, and by your research, what you have done.
Hi, I'm Eric Rubenstein, and this is Eva. And Li Ching has affected both my professional and personal trajectories in such ways that this little one wouldn't have happened if it weren't for Li Ching. Getting involved in autism research and global autism not only led me to a fruitful career as an assistant professor in epidemiology at BU, but led me to meet my wife at the International Society for Autism Research, which ends up with how we got this little one. And it really is, it makes me sad that Eva didn't ever get the chance to meet Li Ching, but I know Li Ching would have loved to see her and feed her because she eats almost as much as Li Ching.
My name is Calliope Holing. I'm an assistant professor at Kennedy Krieger Institute and the Department of Mental Health here at Bloomberg School of Public Health. I completed my PhD and postdoc training here too, and had the great privilege of learning from Dr. Li Ching Li. To me, she was an educator, a collaborator, and a dear mentor. Li Ching inspired me and so many others through the way that she lived and she worked. She overcame a lot of difficulties in her life and yet always kept doing the important but difficult work, whether that was here in the US or abroad in Bangladesh or China. It seems like her view was that if something was inequitable, it needed to be worked on, and why not be the person to work on that? I think that's something that I'll always take with me. The other thing about Li Ching is that she had such a kind and generous soul. She lifted up everyone around her. She was so encouraging. She treated everyone as her equal. I know that she made me feel like I belonged here. Being around her was like being enveloped in a warm blanket. I hope that in the future, when I mentor junior colleagues, I can share some of that energy in her honor.
When I think of Li Ching, the first word that comes to mind is inspirational. She worked harder and was stronger than anyone I've ever known. She persevered through adversity and never gave up. She was selfless and humble, no matter her situation or success, and was so dedicated to making people's lives better, whether that person was a stranger or old friend. These amazing qualities are what shaped me into who I am today, both personally and professionally. She was my biggest cheerleader through my biggest life events: marriage, baby 1, dissertation, baby 2. It was a very hard decision to move on to another job after working with Li Ching for 15 years, and I know it was hard on her too. But still, she cheered me on and supported me every step of the way. And during one of the last conversations I had with Li Ching, which was through text, she told me she was proud of me. I still look back at that text and it fills me with joy and reminds me of how blessed I am to have had Li Ching as a mentor, confidant, and friend.